Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, wherever you're catching us from around the world. My name is Tapiwa Samanga. I'm the Group CEO of the Production Technologies Association of South Africa. Just briefly, the Production Technologies Association of South Africa, we're an association of companies that are in the tool, die, mold, special machining. Sometimes we add assembly systems in South Africa. We are part of the international community of tool, die, and mold companies. We are part of ISTMA, the International Specialist Toolmaking Association around the world, which is represented in many continents. We have been active in this current phase in South Africa for about 20 years. And part of what we've been doing during that period is actually to train toolmakers. We changed or upgraded the toolmaking curriculum. And I'm here today joined by some of our very first students, Mr. Makopa from our 2014 intake, Ms. Mohale from our 2015 intake. This is one in a series of shows that we are calling the hashtag No Manufacturing Without Tooling. Part of what we want to do is to share with the world the importance or the criticality of tooling in a manufacturing economy. And that you cannot industrialize as a country, you cannot improve your manufacturing if you do not pay attention to tooling. And part of that is actually making sure that we have got skills on the ground. So we started training toolmakers in 2010 with 175 students. And then Amos, you came in 2014. Ms. Mohale, you came in 2015. We just want to pick up your journey. How has it been? Has it been worth it? If it was a waste of time, I always say I will refund. So after this show, if it has been a waste of time, we'll work out the numbers and we'll pay you. We'll pay you for how we've wasted your time over the years. Maybe to start with you, Amos. Just briefly, why did you decide to sign up and train as a toolmaker with us? Where were you? And also just briefly, how has been the journey so far and where are you?
Okay. I've always been someone that is inquisitive and I've always wondered of how things work. So I've somehow always known that I will end up in an engineering field one way or the other. And my journey started in 2012 when I was matriculating and I had applied at the University of Pretoria to study mechanical engineering. But as much as I passed with an admission to a bachelor's degree, I did not make the cut due to competition and the APS course level to be selected as one of the students. And then as a result, I had to resort to selecting another discipline, which was BIS Information Science, although I didn't like that career, but then I had no other option. But then in one of the good days, as I was strolling at a plaza in Atteridgeville, where I'm from, I saw a poster which was talking about careers in manufacturing, tool making, and so on and so forth. I decided to take a picture. And when I got home, I sat down and I actually went onto the net and I started Googling what this tool making is about. Because in my mind, I thought tools like your spades, your tongues at home, the harak, and then boom, it was talking about the tool, die, and mold making. Yeah. And then I gave it a bang. I applied and then I was selected. I was called in for an interview. I was called in for the IQ Plaza. I went through the psychometric test. And then I was successful, and here we are today. I am a senior metrologist. I have transitioned from tool making to metrology, but it's still one and the same thing. I'm still within the industry.
No regrets?
No regrets at all.
So you blessed the day you found that
yes.
that poster.
Yes, it has been an exciting
at the mall.
Yes.
This morning, does it sound the same?
Yeah, it sounds very, very familiar. Because with me, personally, I had a passion for something in the medical field.
Okay.
But then, as I think the year after I did my matric in 2010. So I got to learn about different careers. I think Again, something that the schools, the high schools and all of that need to do is like a bit of a course to educate most students about sectors that are out there that are so broad and so diverse, like this program here, that we do not know about. There are millions of people out there who would be surprised what we're talking about now. So even with me, it was the same. But then when I started to learn and find out that there are so many careers, I didn't know that there's programming, there's designing. In my mind, it was like, I'm an engineer. That's all you can be. I didn't know that there were different sectors within that field. So as soon as I got to learn that, I was like, no, I think I should give it a shot, because I think another thing, the level of high unemployment rate is because we flock to one thing when there's a lot of us, and then we end up having a high competition, and
Congestion,
then yeah,
so to say,
exactly,
yeah.
yes. So I was like, no, I want something where there will be place, where there will be space for us. I want something that is perceived to be male dominated, because I see now we are evolving as people. Surely there will be place for us as women. Surely there will be a time when we are given preference. I want to broaden my opportunities. That's when I felt, okay, I should do something in the engineering sector.
I remember from our first intake, we were probably around 30% female. Now we are almost getting to 50%. What has been your experience as a woman in this field, which in days gone by was not only male dominated, but also probably for you, Amos, it was actually a prison for white men.
Yes.
Those are the sort of people you find. Well, how have you dealt with that? Has it been a challenge? Do you think you are given space just as a toolmaker, but not as a young black female? How has that experience been?
Well, because of that point, young black female, you had so much more to prove than all the other people that came in. For example, your older white males, you had so much more to prove, because most people have that mentality that this is a male-dominated industry. So you most probably can't or won't be able to do some of the things that will be assigned to you. So most of the time it was constant proving. You have to work twice as hard to be seen, to be acknowledged. And once we started flowing, going through the years, people were like, no, we should be giving these ladies a chance. They are actually very good.
Amos, what has been your experience? Let me come back to that. Over the years, we've actually found out that, or our records show,
Yes.
that the ladies, on average,
Yes.
do better than the guys on the program.
Yes.
They might not be top of the class, but if we put in the average scores, the
Yes.
girls are actually doing better.
Yes.
All right, you being male, and also getting into a sector that we are saying was dominated by white males.
Yes.
What has been your experience? And are you also, as a male, giving a chance to the ladies to actually make sure that they feel comfortable and are part of this process?
Yes, I've had a fair share of challenges as well, because I was told this is a tough world, and I come across as somebody that's soft, but then they had forgotten the fact that technology is advancing and technology has changed so much. We now make use of a lot of computers. I spend most of my time on the desk, as well as also, doing the practical job, but then it's mostly software related. So it doesn't mean if you are soft or you are female or you can't do it. I think it starts with, if you love something, you will make sure that you do it, you conquer. I've mastered the 3 Ps, which are patience, perspective, and persistence. So as much as I've been hearing a lot of noise, people trying to tell me that, no, it's a tough world, you won't make it, but then I persevered. And here we are today. I don't regret.
Great. One of the challenges that we face is explaining to people how tooling is critical to manufacturing, which is why we are calling this series #No Manufacturing Without Tooling. When we started training toolmakers in 2010, almost everyone that came through had never heard of tooling. The number has slightly changed. I think we're around maybe 98% now. Still, people don't know about tooling. In your own space, what do you think we can do to make, one, students aware, parents aware, and even companies aware of what tooling is and how critical it is to manufacture? How can we get people excited about this? I'll start with you, Amos.
I think it has to come from marketing in itself. Like the sort of like taking us, the students that have went through the program as alumni, go out there to the schools, back to our communities where we come back, and go there with the small tools and try and show them and explain to them what tooling is about, as well as educate people, especially the metrics, about the careers which are available in the tooling industry, such as metrology, because we were not aware that there's such careers, SPC, statistical process controlling, as well as process engineering. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's got more to do with marketing, going back to where we come from.
Ms. Mould, how can we get more ladies from Soshanguve becoming toolmakers?
Okay, I think first of all, the most important is we need to change our mindsets and mentality. Because I've seen that even today, in this day and age, there are still, especially parents out there, the older ones, who feel that you will only make it if you get some sort of degree in university. Like, varsity is the way to go. They don't consider anything else. Because even in my case, people were skeptical. You're studying what? Where are you studying it? Which university is that? Like, we have this mentality to say university is the way to go. And now in this case, for this program, which is tooling, it's not in university. It's so broad, it's big, it's international. It's things that a lot of people still need to know about. So I think at the end of the day, we first need to change our mentality or on how we view everything, that it's not only varsity that's the only way to go up there. It's these apprenticeships, it's this program most definitely, because we gained a lot. And now I think we should also be examples, because if someone is seeing, if people were skeptical of what I'm doing back then while I was still doing it, if I'm currently thriving right now, I should be also going back to them to say, hey, you saw me back then. These are the
Look at
fruits
me now.
Exactly.
Great. You went into aerospace.
Yes.
I spent quite a lot of time in aerospace, and now we are in precision engineering, which in itself is quite, let's say, a privileged space. So again, coming from Soshanguve, so I have to continue referring to that. How has that changed your perspective around life and the opportunities that are available in South Africa? Looking at where you came from, your journey, and where you are now. Let's say if this opportunity had not come through, would that have been possible for you to go into those areas?
I don't think so. Because while growing up, even when you're older, you will see those people. You will see them doing a certain job. You will see a certain man on a computer doing something, designing something. In your mind, you're like, wow, that's amazing. Wish I could do that. Only to find that you can. You can even thrive in it. You just need to broaden your mind. You just need to think out of the box. Don't be confined in certain things. Your simpler careers. Think about, there are people that are working somewhere. I see that they are successful. What are they doing there? What career lines are they following? How did they get there? And once you go in, you will see that, wow, this is actually easy. Not easy per se, but it's doable.
It's doable.
Yes.
It's doable.
It's not only for certain type of people.
But
It's for anyone.
Anybody
Yes.
can do it.
Yes.
Almost the majority of the people that we have trained have come out of the townships, your Atteridgeville.
Yes.
They're not coming out of Centon or the northern suburbs of Joburg. They're coming from the townships, from Hammanskraal, from Pandebele, Soshanguve, as Ms. Mohale, where she comes from. How can we go back to those areas and say, you know what, you can survive in a challenging career path. Because for ourselves, on our side, when we started, we thought we were training toolmakers. But ultimately, the lesson that we've actually picked up is we've learned how to transform the lives of South Africans, especially historically disadvantaged South Africans. Through your own perception from where where you came to join us, when you came to join us from the volunteer center, what are the key areas that if we are to get 1,000 more Amoses out of Outreach, what do we need to focus on to make sure that they come through? And the way we trained you and the support systems that we were in, what elements would you say they were key for you to succeed?
Okay.
Including the times when you thought, maybe this is not for me, I want to give up.
Yeah. I think it boils back to us as the alumni again. We need to go back there and, to remind the aspiring toolmakers that this is a smart industry. It's no longer a hard working industry whereby somebody has to get swelled, by these greases and stuff like that.
And have
yes, you don't need to have those biceps. You don't need to be a male, or you don't need to be white. If you put your mind to anything, I believe that you can do it. And then I think, as well as remind them of all these careers that are available, because the problem we sit with now is they are not even aware that there are such careers out there. They don't know at all. Some are even at home sitting with their matric certificates with maths and sciences because they didn't get admitted at varsities, because they didn't get the Bs. They are sitting with H, school leaving qualifications, whereas they could try and give it a bang and try to apply and see if they could, get something out of this apprenticeship. Because what's nice about it is that you not only can exit as a toolmaker, if it does get tough, you can also exit as a machinist, or you could exit with certain credentials, which will make you employable at the end of the day. It's not like you have to, become like qualified toolmaker in order for you to land a job. We've got a lot of our other previous students who've exited with credentials, a few credentials, who are working
profitably. Yeah.
Yes.
We've got viable careers.
Yes.
One of the challenges that we have with training toolmakers, that it actually costs a lot to train a toolmaker. Probably of all trades, it's one of the most demanding in terms of training. The sort of kit that we have to put in here. With your experiences and what you have gone through, if the money was there, would you have paid to do this?
Yes, I would have paid to do this. Because toolmaking is so broad, it's very broad. You actually get to choose where you want to, go in, like metrology measurements, or you want to go the die making way, or the pattern making, or the jigs and fixtures.
Yeah.
The machine building route, or the robotics, which is something I'm looking into. As soon as the master artisan plan goes live, I'm looking into going into robotics. So I would have done this. I don't regret anything at all. Actually, I'm grateful that I've gone through this apprenticeship, because it has given me confidence and it has opened my eyes.
We recently had a strategic review of the tool die and mold sector in South Africa. One of the things, of course, that we looked at was on the skills. Some companies were saying we probably are over-delivering on the skill part, to say maybe they want nurses and we are producing doctors. What has been your experience in terms of what you learned here? Do you feel fully utilized, or you're underutilized? Is there more that probably you could bring to the sector that you think is not being tapped on?
That's one of the biggest issues that we have out there. We are very much underutilized. Most of the time in companies, there's a specific position for a specific job.
Okay.
And they expect that when they bring you in, when you're hired, you can only do that portion of what you hired to do. And then it surprises them to see you replacing someone who's not there or taking over someone that's not around for the day.
Okay.
They are always surprised or shocked in a way to say,
You can just seamlessly do it.
Yes, I thought you only do this. You do that as well. Then you'll be like, oh, and this, and that, and that.
Okay.
So-
You can design, you can program,
Yes, you can
design,
design,
operate,
you can program, you can operate, you can machine, you can do repairs.
you can do the quality checks.
Yes, everything. You can do all of that, and that's all within from this very same program, all in one. So it kind of like, as you were giving an example in the medical field, you're not only a doctor, you're a physiotherapist, you are a dentist, you are a psychologist,
Gynecologist,
all of that.
Okay.
That's what this program does.
So maybe on our part, we need to make industry more aware
Yes.
of the sort of
Yes.
value that you bring
Yes.
onto the workplace. I must have sort of drifted to metrology.
Yes.
That's where you are now. I mean, how did that happen? And what is the relationship between metrology, toolmaking, and what we taught you? How did that transition happen? And do you still work with toolmakers or with
Yes.
toolmaking?
I still work with toolmakers. I still work with process engineers and quality engineers. My very first job that I landed was as a technical solution specialist. And then what we did is we did sales and marketing of the small measuring hand tools to capital items. So small measuring hand tools like your verniers, your micrometers to capital items like CMMs. So which means that we were selling those products and we had to have like product knowledge on what we were selling.
What you were selling.
Which also includes installation, if it's CMMs, like the capital items. After installations, then comes in the commissioning as well as training and the after sales of the systems that you've sold sort of like out there in the industry. And how I came about, I transitioned. I was consulting at a certain company, the company that I'm with now, MA Automotive. I was there to support them due to they were having capacity challenges. And then they saw me doing my job there, and then that's how I impressed them. They saw potential in me, and then they decided, they wanted to hire me as a metrologist. And then
sometimes the word is poach, okay?
Yes, I was poached because they saw a potential in me. They even decided to send me to Germany to do some specialized training, which was more software. Which is the GOM software. And yeah, I came back, and then ever since then, I've been doing well. And last year, I was promoted to a senior level as a metrologist within the company. So I as a metrologist, have to always work with the toolmakers in the press shop.
Okay.
Because I have to maintain, or I have to do quality control, and I have to deal with quality assurance. And then as soon as I see that we are not achieving the quality standards which are set, I need to relay back the information to the toolmakers to try and make the optimizations that they need to make so that the products that we are producing, they are non-defective and they are conforming to the industry standards that are set out there.
Non-conforming. One of the key issues in toolmaking is precision. Just being in this field, what has that taught you about making sure that things are done correctly, that things are perfect? How has that changed the way you look at things? That it's not just something; it has to be perfect. If it's a bottle, it has to be perfect. This bottle and the next one, and the next 1 million, they have to be. What has that taught you?
Yeah, well, that's part of my daily job, precision. At first, when you come into it, you feel like, it's impossible. It's going to be difficult. But then you get that mentality of precision. It also goes back with you home. Everything you do, you want it to be precise. we're working with parts and tolerances that are as low as 10 microns. To be more general, let's say
what's that in English?
Yes, okay. No, okay, 10 microns, which is technical. In English, it's like it has to be within 0.01.
Okay.
It shouldn't be more than that or less than that. That's not even the size of a hair strand.
Okay.
It's smaller than that.
Okay.
That's the kind of precision we
are dealing with.
Yes, that's the kind of precision we're dealing with. It's doable. The more you do it, the more you start to enjoy it. And then it also changes you as a person. You start to be precise in everything that you do. You want to be precise, even with what you're doing at home. You want to be precise in what you're wearing. You want to be precise in you become a much better person. You sort of like become a precise person. Yes, in a way. Yeah.
One of the things, I mean, we've been doing this, let's say in 2005, from 2005, 2010, we then started training toolmakers. One of the criticisms that the sector has is actually issues around transformation. We have fewer companies that are owned and controlled by historically disadvantaged individuals, particularly black, either male or female. It doesn't really matter. And one of our expectations, or let's say some of the approach that we took, was you can only make omelettes if you've got eggs. So you are our eggs. We actually said, all right, because toolmaking companies are owned by toolmakers. So there was no way we could have black-led toolmaking companies when there were no black toolmakers. They were there, but they were few. So part of our approach to transform the tool die and mold sector was to train you guys. From your experience, what are the challenges that are there, or what are the barriers that are stopping the setting up and thriving of black-owned toolmaking companies? What have you observed? And it's something that, I mean, very soon will be 10 years after graduation. We're expecting you to start something. What are the barriers? What hoops do you have to jump?
First and foremost important, and the biggest, has to be financial, obviously. Funding. We need some sort of funding to do this.
You mean for equipment?
For equipment, yes.
Okay.
We need exposure. Okay. We've been talking about it now that this field is not as known as how it should be. It should be known out there that there's a certain group of people. They can do almost anything within that industry. They just need to be given a chance.
Okay.
We need to be acknowledged. We need to be known out there. We exposure, a lot of exposure, funding for equipment. Otherwise, we as the previous students, the graduates, we have the skills.
Okay.
We need
the technical skills are in.
Yes. Right. We need collaborations with companies, companies that are willing to give us a chance as an individual company or as a small group.
To supply.
Yes, to supply. That's what we need. If we can get that, we are gone.
Amos, we still have challenges that we have to export molds, for instance, for your water bottle. Let's not talk about the cars. Maybe that's far down the line. Small things like your water bottle, your peanut butter bottle, we still make molds from our day. What sort of support do you think should be given to graduates like yourself to start going into doing molds or making molds within the country for small things like your water bottle, your peanut butter bottle?
Yeah, I think the skills are there. And I don't think it's a one man's job. It's like Huiti has already highlighted, it needs to be like a collaboration. I don't think one single person can make it. For example, in order for you to make this bottle, you're gonna need most probably somebody that's gonna measure it precisely. So, a metrologist.
Which is you.
Yes, and then you're gonna need a toolmaker.
Ah.
You're gonna most probably need somebody that knows, or an operator, for example, and somebody that knows a little bit on programming, the programming side of things. The one that's going to program, on the cam, in order for the CNC machines to be able to, cut out the profiling of the mold and stuff like that. But unfortunately, the machinery is very expensive.
Okay.
So it boils back to capital. We need capital. Funding is of vital importance, as well as a collaboration. So we need to come together, we as the alumni from our different sectors, where we are now, our designations, and work together and try to come up with something from, the bottom.
Toolmaking is, as we say, is at the heart of manufacturing, which means if we broaden our tool die and mold sector, we can do more things within the country. So it speaks to the issues of localization, local content. If we can make the tools that go, for most of the parts that go into a car, for instance, it means the percentage local content for that vehicle goes up. It means we create jobs locally.
Yes.
It means we a bigger part of the value chain stays in the country. We always say that about 60% of the cost of a product usually is determined by the tool or the tooling system that you have deployed for that product. What can we do? And we are now looking at you, because us as the association, we're looking at you not only as toolmakers, but also as alumni. What can we do to make not only our communities where we come from, but actually the authorities appreciate more how tooling is important? They say from the areas that you've worked in aerospace and now where you are, that when we see a Boeing 747 fly past, and you can tell, okay, there is this and this and this and this, and I made the tool for that. How can we do more of that? How do we create spaces so that South Africa can actually start doing more of on our product, so that when we hold a product, we're able to say this was made in South Africa. What more can we do to make the authorities out there appreciate more that, tooling is important? Because very soon you are the guys who are going to be sitting here promoting tooling in the country when I retire.
Yes, so again, I think the biggest thing is exposure. Exposure. I will state exposure. People don't know. And they are, for where we can get funding, it's people who are basically working with funding, but they do not have so much knowledge about what goes on behind this water bottle coming into the country, or the mold, or whatever is needed. But if we expose ourselves to them to say, you are spending so much, you are spending that much importing from out there, whereas there's us that can do this thing for so much more, so much less than what you would spend if you're exporting. If we can somehow be exposed and showcase exactly what it is that we're doing, because if people knew that there's us, they wouldn't have to be so much exporting that's going on in the country. People are exporting.
Importing, you mean?
Yes, importing. Sorry,
yeah.
yes. People are importing because they do not know about us.
They do not know that you're already there.
Yes. If they knew that these people are there, they can easily make this for us, which is gonna strengthen the economy, which is gonna make so much more, create jobs, strengthen the economy, as I said, as opposed to importing everything from out there, just because we think that there's still a shortage of toolmakers. There's still a shortage of people who can actually make these molds for this bottle, as we gave an example with the bottle. So exposure, we need exposure. People need to know out there that we are there, we can do it, we can make it. Name it, we'll make it.
Amos, as we wind down, if I can organize, let's say, 5 minutes with the president, and you are going to talk to him using your own life as an example about how toolmaking has transformed your life from somebody who almost was wandering around in Atteridgeville waiting for anything to happen. And you are sitting there with President Cyril Ramaphosa and trying to explain to him what tooling is and why him, even as the president, should support it, not only as a transformative tool, which actually has taken a township, sort of going nowhere, youth to where you are now as a senior metrologist in an international company, and also given you, let's say, an opportunity at life. What would you say to him? What sort of thing would you say to him? How can he be in a position to bring out more, as I said, thousands more Amoses onto it?
I would firstly tell him and remind him of how manufacturing is the cornerstone and how it is the heart of this our economy. If you look at the tool makers currently that we have, those who are like good, they are dominantly white males, but they are now going for off the work soon because of their age. So they're going to retire very soon. So I would, bring it out to him to say to him that, he needs to focus more or pump in money more into training. I think we need more money into training, not only the conventional way of tool making, because technology has advanced so much. Like we are now into the fourth industrial revolution, whereby we make use of, optical measuring systems, inline gauging systems, which are very expensive. They don't come cheap. And my fear is we don't really have enough people with the necessary skills, with those skills to be able to, to make use of such technologies. So I would really tell him or try to, advise him to look at pumping more money into investing into the latest technology advancements which are out there, to make sure that we remain competitive as a nation and to be able to attract, investors from outside the country as well, and make them believe in us and show them that we've got the potential to do it ourselves.
I'm sure your mother still doesn't really understand what you do. But I'm sure she's proud of you and what you have done. All right. Tomorrow is Thursday, and the Ladies Guild always meet on Thursday at church, right? And she says, "My child, come." And the ladies actually say, "No, come and talk to us about what you are doing. Because we have seen what you have done. We did not understand it, but it looks like it turned out well." What would you say? There you go back to Mabopane. The church is full. Young people are there. Some of them are not even listening to you. They are on their phones. They are not interested. What did you say to a young South African, especially to a young black female South African, about the careers that are in manufacturing and especially the careers and the opportunities that are around toolmaking?
Yes, so I would give a practical example, a simple example. I would just take a water bottle or a can of Coke, or whatever it is, and just ask a simple question. Where do you think this comes from? How do you think this was made? Think about everything that is in your house, your kitchen, your bedroom, your car.
Yeah.
Things as big as cars. Where do you think these things are made? Think about that. And then I would come in to say, that's partially what I do. It's very broad. Before I can actually make this water bottle, it needs to be designed. I need to draw that, okay, I'm going to make this, that's going to be the mouth, this is where the cap will be, all of the detail. That is a sector within tooling, which is programming and design, because you're drawing that part. Actually, it's design. Once I know, okay, this is the water bottle that I want to do, it needs to be made. It's made from something called a mold. There's a shape, there's a tool that we need to make in the shape of that bottle in order to produce that bottle. That's where the tool makers come in. That is the tool, not your spanner your hammer and all of that.
everything.
When we're saying tool making, we're not talking about your spanner and your hammer. Yes.
Yeah.
We are talking about that piece of metal, big as it might be, that's going to actually produce that water bottle.
And then I says, maybe that has got nothing to do with us. We can always buy water. In terms of in terms of job satisfaction and job security, have you ever been like worried about that? Maybe tomorrow I'll not have a job. Or...
No. In terms of job security, we are good. Like I've mentioned, a lot of the tool makers, they are white and they are nearly retiring. So which means that there is that gap that needs to be filled, and it will be filled by us, the new tool makers of the 21st century. And we stand out when we go out there because of the training, like the type of training that we received, you know. We not only did the theoretical learning, but we also did the practical part of it. Yeah.
I think we even move between jobs.
Okay.
It's not always a case of not having a job. It's a case of, oh, I've done this portion of tool making, now I want to do that.
Okay.
And
You
then
move to get more experience
you move
and
around,
exposure
and
in
it's
different...
movable. There
Okay.
are jobs out there. We don't lack. It's
Okay.
always there. Job security is 100%.
We've started to see some of your peers actually moving abroad.
Yes.
Is there something that have ever crossed your mind that you can try something outside South Africa? Although I don't want you to go. We trained you using taxpayers' money, and you are not going anywhere. But is it something that, what are your friends talking about that have looked at other options abroad?
It's always good to go abroad. We need to constantly compare what we're doing to what is being done out there. We need to investigate if we are behind or ahead or in the same level as the others. And I think the only way to do that is if we go out there and see for ourselves. Take what we can take from them and then come back and bring it home.
I'll make sure that your passport is withdrawn. All right, finally, guys, your last words. We are still getting the numbers in terms of applicants coming in for training, but I still think the message is not coming out there to actually say what is tooling, even to maybe more to the authorities. Now for the students, they will still apply because of the pressures that are there in the job place. You still get people applying. I mean, you heard that the police recently wanted, I think 5,000. I don't know how many applicants came, probably it ended up being 1 million or something. So people are looking for jobs. So people will just try out. But what would be your last word in terms of attracting people intentionally who really want to go into tool making? How do we make sure we attract them? How do we make sure the parents support them? How do we make sure that the government actually realizes that this is important? How do we make sure that the companies as well realize that we are training to a standard that can actually be very useful into their companies? What more do we need to do, especially for us as an association?
I think we need to be very transparent and be honest that if you are somebody that likes to sit on a desk the whole day and work on your computer, tool making might just not be for you.
For you.
Yes, because we use our hands.
Okay.
We work with our hands. If you're somebody that loves, working with your hands, a little bit of a desk sitting there, maybe computer, but then most of the time you are working with your hands, and we must attract the right people for it, like somebody that really loves tool making. Because if you don't have the love for it, I don't think you will succeed. Because it's not easy during the training.
Okay.
It's not like it was an easy,
Right.
a bit of a walk in the park. It does come with its own challenges, because you're gonna face real challenges, especially when you go on the job training. You're gonna be facing the real life challenges that side that you need to resolve, which you can't afford to make costly mistakes, because you are dealing with expensive equipment, expensive machines, expensive tools. I think we really need to make sure that we're attracting the right candidates by being transparent to say this is what tool making is
all
and
about.
this is what you're gonna end up working as.
Right. Dick Van Dijk, our former CEO, used to say some of the ladies that we had in the program, they could even have chosen a career in modeling. But they came to,
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah.
But they chose. How do we make this appealing to other young ladies? What else can we need to, using yourself as an example, how do we make it appealing? Does it take away your femininity that you are working in an engineering field? Or you are only attractive to your husband who is also in the engineering field? How do you, does it take away your womanhood to say?
Actually, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Honestly, it doesn't. This field is very broad. It's diverse. There's, like I mentioned before, there's your programming, there's your designing. That doesn't need any masculinity. It just requires you to sit there and think. There are sectors in this tool making field where you don't have to use your physical strength. You just need to use your brain. Your metrology side.
Yep.
You there with the technology that is there. You just lifting something that's not so heavy to measure what has already been done out there. So it doesn't really take away. You just have to get into the sector where that is more feminine, that is suitable for you. If you're a lady and you feel that, I want to continue with my makeup
I'm
and
just going to,
nails.
yes, and I'll do my design.
Yes.
I'll do my programming.
Yes.
I'll program my CNC machine, leave it running overnight and go home. Okay. No, thank you very much. I'm not so sure if we'll see you again on the series, but one of the things that we'll even do is that we'll actually come in at some point. We want to see your families, your mothers, and say, hey, what do you think this boy or this girl is doing? And then we'll hear them say, this one, I thought she was going to be useless or whatever, but I'm not so sure what type of language that they're going to use. Yes. But once again, as I said, for us, our real experiences, we have seen how this program has transformed lives, and we hope we are going to, it's a tool that can be used to actually equip very valuable skills to students in the backgrounds that you come from, and also from the challenges that you've had with life. I mean, you were telling us that you could not afford 4,500 to register, but that seems so many moons away now. It's something else. So thank you for coming, and pass on the message that no manufacturing without tooling, and that is doable. I like that word. It's doable. Anybody can actually do it. It doesn't matter your background. Thank you.
True.
Thank
Pleasure.
you. Thank you so much.